Greetings, fellow YouTuber. My name is Tim. Greetings, fellow YouTuber. Welcome once again to the internet show that answers the burning question. Here, pull my finger. This is GainerWorld Live. My name is Tim Gainer. Thank you so much for joining me. If you are a regular viewer to the show, if you're new to the show, we welcome you. And really question your taste as not just a YouTube viewer, but as a human being in general, because the next hour that you're about to spend is not really the, well, let me put it to you this way. You want hard-hitting entertainment, you want fun, you want all kinds of laughs. This ain't it, okay? Although we try. I will tell you honestly, we try. We get together as we have maybe once every, we do this once a week, every Friday. And we've been doing this for the last couple of years where we just kind of, we get together and we talk about things that are going on in the news, talk about life in general, and just talk and just have a good time. How do we talk on the internet, you ask? Well, as you can tell, this is YouTube. If you're watching live, you probably see, the whole chat thing over there. Oh, no. We're on the cutting edge of technology here, gang. We've got it right there. You don't even have to strain your neck. We care about you, the viewer, that much, where we'll bring that chat all the way over here. Pretty cool, huh? Yeah, I thought of that all by myself. Anyway, as always, we thank you very much for joining us. And if you have anything to say, please, by all means, join us in the chat. That's what it's all about. We usually have a gang of people here that love to just kind of hang out and talk trash and laugh at stories that we have going on. And that's the usual thing that we do. Speaking of usual things that we do, and something that has not been around for quite some time, and something I am proud to say that I can invite you to one more time, I would invite you right after this show, quick like a bunny, to run over to hugs@wrgg.com. That's right, it is back. hugs@wrgg.com, hugsatwrgg.com, where the one and only, believe it or not, he's been gone a couple of weeks, and he, listen, there is no truth to the rumor that if you play Get Out of Denver backwards, you're going to hear me whisper, I buried Cyrus. Okay? But Cyrus Gray has been out of the loop for a couple of weeks, but he is back tonight. Pardon me. And he's going to be doing the top 10 countdown as well as the Hug Shockwave. If you are looking for some of the best unsigned independent music from around the world, this is the place to check it out. Hugs@wrgg.com, Hugs 24/7 Radio. It is an extremely cool station, if I do say so myself. And like I said, it showcases the great unsigned talent that's in the world. And there's actually a chart on this radio station. They have a top 200 chart. Oh, yes, it's true. And Cyrus counts down the top 10. That happens right after this show, 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central, over at Hugs 24/7 Radio. Like I said, hugsatwrgg.com. I would strongly recommend that you check it out because it's some amazing music by some amazing people. And there's lots of cool things going on over there that you really need to know about. Speaking of cool things to know about, lots of other things going on. But we would implore you to join us. Join us in this chat right here. It's really cool stuff. I swear, I wouldn't kid you about that kind of thing. We won't insult your intelligence a lot. And if we do, hey. But anyway, it's a beautiful night here in the great city of Chicago. Also, although I do see some overcast skies, I've got the window open. This is how nice it is in Chicago this evening. I've got a window, a nice French window right next to me that I keep open. I've got my personal cooling unit over to the other side that I've got going. If you hear some kind of a gentle breeze, if you will, in the background. That and the phone lines are open. So, hey, does it get any better than this? No. No, it does not. Although, you know what I'm going to do tonight? I'm going to start off with something. I was thinking about doing this earlier. And I didn't know if I wanted to do it now or not. But Noreen Henry has popped in to say hello. Hello, Noreen. It's always good to hear from you. I certainly do appreciate that. That this is the... This is that age of our lives where we, you got to be careful of things. You've really got to be careful. And, the reason that you're careful is because thanks to the internet and social media and all kinds of technological advances, people try to rip you off. I know, right? Dog in the background. But anyway, there's, one particular notice that I got here on my phone today. We have successfully processed your order under the ID of such and such, and a charge of $618 has been applied to your card. Any inquiries, contact us. And it leaves a number. How do I know this is a scam? Let me tell you. Number one, I didn't charge anything for $618. Number two, it doesn't tell you what card it is charged to. But it does leave a number. So we're going to call this number. And we're going to see what happens. Just because I can. Let's give this a shot. Oh, they're busy. Oh, isn't that a shame? Well, you know what we can do? Let's go back and use the phone number that it came from, which is not the same phone number, by the way. Yeah. Let's try something here. We're going to call the other number that this came from. Just to see what happens. Oops. Three and 6, 805. Let's see what happens, shall we? Hey, we got an hour to kill. Why not? Let's try this.
Has insufficient balance to complete this call. Please recharge your account.
What? I don't have enough money on my phone to charge the account. Okay, sure. Well, let's try the other one again. Just to see what happens. They're still busy. Oh, that's a shame, isn't it? I guess I'm not going to get my $618 back. Yeah, okay. Here's another one that says that they're encountering issues delivering my package. And they've informed the United States Post Office about it. Post Office hasn't involved me, but they've involved other people. So let's call this number. Noreen Henry says, you can use the $618 for your bill. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, that's true. I could put it towards the phone bill so I could complete the call, right? I've never even seen this area code before. So this should be interesting. Let's see what this does.
Could not complete your call. Please try again.
We can't complete your call. Please try again. And hung up quickly. Yeah. Never believe everything from weird texts that you get, guys. That's the whole moral of the story here. Because, you just don't want to do that. Anyway, so that's what's going on with that. And in the meantime, it's time for us to catch up on all things deceased. Let's check the Deadpool, y'all. What do you say? George Tickner. If you don't know this name, if you don't know this name, you are to be forgiven. But it's a name that you should know, simply because it was one of the most. He helped spearhead probably one of the most influential bands in the history of rock and roll. Believe it or not, that face that you're looking at, George Tickner, was the co-founder and original rhythm guitarist for Journey. Yes, that Journey. Any way you want it, faithfully, any way you want it. Yeah, that guy. Yes. He along with Neil Schon, or I beg your pardon, he along with Ross Valerie, original bass player Ross Valerie, they played originally in a psychedelic rock band called Frumious Bandersnatch. God, I love that name. And they got together with a 17-year-old Neil Schon, fresh off his tutelage from Carlos Santana, along with Santana's former keyboard player, Greg Raleigh. And they got together in February of 1973. And their first public appearance was to an audience of 10,000 at the Winterland Ballroom in San Francisco on New Year's Eve. No pressure there. And then later that year, they created what I consider to be one of the top 10 progressive rock, fusion rock, whatever you want to call it, rock albums ever made. Journey's incredible first album in April of 1975. Now, this thing only charted at like number 138 in the Billboard Hot 200. But if you've ever heard songs on that album like Cahutek or Of a Lifetime, you know what I'm talking about. This band was just phenomenal. Their first three albums, of which Tickner, by the way, he helped co-write. And he quit Journey following the record release. He went ahead and pursued a career in medicine. He attended Stanford Medical School on a full scholarship. And, of course, we all know what happened with Journey. Neil Schon, pictured in the middle. Yes, that is a 17-year-old Neil Schon that you see in the middle there. He announced the news on Facebook yesterday, saying, Journey junkies, I have some very sad news. George Tickner, Journey's original rhythm guitarist and songwriting contributor on our first three albums, has passed away at the age of 76 years old. Godspeed, George. Thank you for the music. We'll always be paying tribute to you on this page indefinitely. Yeah, so, but he stayed in contact with the band, which was really nice. He actually helped produce a couple of things. He's founded a recording studio called The Hive with Ross Valerie, and they recorded music with past and present members of Journey, including Schon. And in 2005, they got back together because they received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, unfortunately. So, yeah, sad news. Sad news. One of, to me, a very influential guitarist, one heck of a writer. And if you've never heard Journey's first three albums, go back and listen to them. You will really thank me for it in a whole way. George Tickner, unfortunately, gone at the age of 76. Original guitarist, rhythm guitarist. I want to be clear on that. Original guitarist with Journey, gone at the age of 76. That is this week's Deadpool, ladies and gentlemen. Let us check the tote board because I just noticed that our pal Elena popped in to say hello. Hey, Elena, good to see you. Happy belated birthday. I bet you thought I forgot, didn't you? I would never forget my buddy's birthday, nor would I forget about the fact that the Danimal, is there with us in the viewing capacity as well. Always good to see you guys. One of the things that we're kind of following up on that, I made a joke last week about she almost made the Deadpool, and it's a good thing she didn't. But I gotta watch what I joke about because apparently Madonna's sickness was a heck of a lot worse than anybody thought. RadarOnline.com tells us that when Madge, the Mo, was found unresponsive back on June 24th, they did not find Madonna. They found a lifeless body. That's about the most polite way I can put that. And they were forced to administer a Narcan injection, according to sources. If you don't know what Narcan is, it is something that's used by EMTs and other people that, there's no polite way to put this. It reverses the life-threatening effects of an overdose. But it's also used to reverse acute septic shock in patients. Now, we reported last week that there's a very good possibility that she was/is suffering from sepsis, which is a condition that the dear Madge is said to have suffered. Now, there's nothing to do. I mean, there's nothing at all to suggest that she needed Narcan for any drug effect. But it sounds to me like the whole sepsis story is, there's some weight to this. Radar Online previously reported that the Material Girl singer, who is 64, okay, look, before she had all the tummy tucks and facelifts, she was looking pretty good for 64. Not gonna lie. She was looking pretty good. But she was intubated for at least one night in a New York hospital. The official explanation was a bacterial infection. But, there are reports saying that, according to a source cited by Page 6, it appears that the Material one obviously is out of ICU. Guy Oshray, her manager, took to Instagram to disclose that her client had contracted a serious bacterial infection. Purportedly, allegedly, she disregarded her symptoms and didn't seek medical attention due to her intense focuses on preparing for her celebration tour, which was supposed to kick off next month. That obviously has been canceled. Well, it hasn't been canceled, but it's been postponed. I won't say canceled. But sources revealed to Page 6 that the Queen of Pop had been engaging in strenuous rehearsals for weeks, dedicating 12-hour days to perfecting her performance. Okay, if that's true, Madge, honey, I can honestly say True. I mean, obviously, you don't. I don't work the same type of show that you do. Yours is a lot more strenuous. I will openly admit that. But I'm 66. You're 64. I learned a little while ago that I needed to slow down. And I'm not saying you should do the same, but you might want to consider it. You might want to kick back, you know. Can we keep up with the Cardi B's and the Ed Sheerans and the Dua Lipas? No. But you just be the best Madge you know how to be, and I'll be the best Gainer I know how to be, and we won't kill ourselves for it. It ain't worth it. But yeah, it was supposed to kick off in Vancouver next month, but that's not happening. So best of luck to the Material Girl. I mean, I'm hearing all kinds of rumors about how she's sitting at home and throwing up in her shoes and all sorts of weird things like that. And if that's the case, I mean, I've had sepsis. I don't mind telling you. I said this last week too. It sucks. I had to carry around a machine that, and this is a true story now. I used to have to carry around a machine that would pump pure penicillin directly into one of the main veins in my heart every half hour for 2 hours. And I had to do that for 6 weeks. I used to carry this thing around with me. I called it C3PO. It sucks, hon. I know it sucks. I realize it sucks. Just do yourself a favor. Do your fans a favor. Just get better, okay? Don't worry about the show. We'll all be here when you get back. We'll all be waiting. We'll all be able to spend those thousands and thousands of dollars that we'll need to spend for the nosebleed seats just to hear you do Like a Virgin one more time. But anyway. Elena is saying, checking the tote board, the Danimal returns tomorrow. All right, sounds good. Danimal returns tomorrow thanks to the birthday wishes. Had a great weekend celebrating. Okay, and that's a good thing. I'm glad to hear that. I am glad to hear that. We need to do some catching up. Yep. Not going to lie. I know Elena. I've known her for years. And doesn't matter if she tries to deny it. I keep bringing it up and destroying her life as best way I know how. Speaking of people, that. So apparently, no charges are going to be filed for Britney Spears. And I'm please forgive me. I'm searching frantically for the pictures that I thought I had uploaded, but apparently I didn't. You gotta love live internet television, right? But anyway, if you didn't hear about this, she filed a police report about an incident with with the San Antonio Spurs, against a member of San Antonio Spurs, Victor Wembanyama. Brittany's saying that she was slapped by a security person last Wednesday night in a Las Vegas restaurant. There's video of this, then you can go look for this yourself, where apparently she wanted to say hi to him, and she brushed up against the security guy, and the security guy just accidentally, flinched and hit her in the face. It happens. It happens. But you'll be glad to know that there will be no charges. As well as there is no pictures right now, because I forgot to load them. One thing that I did not forget to load, because by golly, by gosh, this is going to be one of the more surprising announcements this week. Just heard about this today. We've talked about oh, Noreen, you're causing me to pull it out. You're right. You know exactly what they said to the guard when he hit her.
Leave Brittany alone!
All she wanted to do was say hi to him. That's all she wanted to do. She wanted to touch a San Antonio Spur. And she got her clock cleaned.
Leave Brittany alone!
Yeah, I know. Don't tempt me, girl. I'm crafty with this stuff. One of the I just heard about this today, that one of the big announcements, we've been talking about this year is the year of the reunion. All kinds of bands getting back together, all kinds of bands actually calling it quits. And one of them that's really surprising, but they're going to go the Elton John route on this kind of thing. Eagles, according to Variety, have announced the first of what they say are their final tour dates. But, you know, I'm going to agree with Eddie Trunk on this one because the farewell tour begins on September 7th at Madison Square Garden. And the tour is expected to continue into 2025. Now, if I'm right about all of this, Cher did that. Of course, Elton did that. He was on the, you know, this was his farewell tour, but he was on the road for what, a year and a half, 2.5 years, something like that. But Variety is saying, quote, after 52 years, more than 1,000 concerts, and 150 million albums sold, the group has announced the initial 13 dates of their farewell tour. The tour has been dubbed The Long Goodbye, which is kind of a, you know, that's a fun title. But according to the announcement, Don Henley, Joe Walsh, Timothy B. Schmidt, along with Vince Gill and Deacon Fry, who is the son of the late Glenn Fry, who passed away in 2011, will perform as many shows in each market as their audience demands. This is just the first batch of shows that you're looking at here. Okay? There are going to be more to come. Also, opening for them, are you ready for this? Steely Dan. That's going to be a good show. I don't care what you tell me. I don't care what you do. Although it's going to be hard to kind of see who they're going to replace Walter Becker with. Because, as you remember, Walter Becker passed away in, I think it was 2016, 2017. But yeah, their longtime friends and fellow rock and roll Hall of Famers will open the tour. Live Nation's presenting the tour, so expect really jacked ticket sales. In fact, if you remember correctly, it is Eagles that actually were the granddaddies of the jacked ticket sales. You might remember back around, what was it, 1983? 80? No, it was later than that. I think it was like 87, 88, right before they did the Hell Freezes Over tour. And people are going, wow, this is great. Eagles are back together. And at the time, you were spending maybe $25, $30 for tickets. And boy, thanks to Don and the crew, if you wanted to see them, say, for example, at the old Chicago Amphitheater in the great city of Chicago, you paid $175 for the nosebleeds. So, yeah, I'm sure that these tickets are really going to be something. And especially if Live Nation's putting it on, yeah, you can bet that these things are going to be jacked. Noreen says it was the most expensive concert I ever went to. Yeah, I can believe that. But yeah, the group statement in full says that, and I quote, "The Eagles have had a miraculous 52-year odyssey performing for people all over the globe, keeping the music alive in the face of tragic losses, upheavals, and setbacks of many kinds. Credit and thanks go to our longtime management team, our dedicated road crew, and our exceptional backup musicians for providing skill and steadfast support throughout these many years. We know how fortunate we are, and we are truly grateful. Our long run," see what they did there, "has lasted for longer than any of us have dreamed, but everything has its time, and the time has come for us to close the circle. The official farewell tour is currently in the planning stages. We want to give all fans a chance to see us this one final round. Then drop the ticket prices, Don." Just throwing it out there. So scheduling information will be released as the dates are set. Difficulties of booking venues for multiple nights may require us to return to certain cities, depending upon demand. But we hope to see as many of you as we can before we finish up. Yeah, it's like I said, it's going to start, pardon me, September 7th in Madison Square Garden. From there, they're going to Boston, moving up and down the East Coast. They're going to be at the Ball Arena in Denver on October 5th. Closest they're getting to here right now, and by here I mean Chicago, they'll be in Indianapolis at the Gainbridge Fieldhouse on October 9th. On the 13th, they'll be in Detroit at the Little Caesars Arena. In Cleveland at the Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse on October 17th. But again, these are just opening dates, and as it is said that the band is going to be they're going to be touring through, I would bet through, they say into 2025. I'm thinking that it's going to be through 2025. Pardon me. So yeah, that's what's going on with the Eagles. So yeah, I'm thinking that you're probably gonna have to mortgage the house to see that concert. Don Henley and Live Nation, yeah, that can only lead to no good. I'm sorry. Love Eagles, love them to death. They are not worth a mortgage payment. Elena is saying, "I have a vague recollection of seeing Eagles as a backup for another band somewhere around the summer of 75. Wouldn't surprise me. It's very possible that they may have been with the likes of maybe Jackson Browne, because they worked a lot with him. Other bands like New Riders of the Purple Sage, Poco, they came pretty much from that ilk. So it's very possible. I don't remember. Well, 75, that was right before Hotel California. So that's around the lines of like Desperado. So they would have been headlining by then, I would think. But I'd have to look into that. For you. Speaking of looking into things, we've got a couple of follow-ups to some stories that we've been working. That they were a backup band is what impresses me. Well, that's how they got to start. During in the early 70s, the whole Southern rock thing, the whole California rock thing, where again you had people like Poco, New Riders of the Purple Sage, NRBQ, Jackson Browne, just that whole ilk of people, people like Graham Parsons and J.D. Souther. Just that whole crap, that whole group of people were all together. Could they have backed up Chicago by chance? No. Yeah, no. You're talking apples and oranges there. When would Chicago need a backup band? Really? No. Yeah, they were just off of their concerts at Carnegie Hall. They just released Chicago 4 by then. They just released Chicago 5, as a matter of fact. Don't think they needed them. But we are following up on another story. We're following up on a couple of stories. One of them being, you might have heard a few weeks ago that, of course, you heard that Pat Sajak is stepping down at the end of this season. He is retiring as host of Wheel of Fortune, America's best love game show. And he's being replaced by the likes of Ryan Seacrest, who will be going on. Now, this sparked a little bit of a controversy because everybody was asking, while this is going on, what is to become of Vanna White? And the last we heard is that Vanna had lawyered up, and she was asking for at least half of what Zajac was making while he is a host. Zajac is making $15 million a year, whereas Vanna is only making $3 million. Poor baby. And she wants $7 million. Well, according to the New York Post, the word is that Vanna feels like the producers have a, quote, lack of respect for her. A source told the Daily Mail that the game show bosses think that she's replaceable. Ouch. Okay, here's something to think about. Vanna is 66. I'm 66. I don't look that good. Okay? But then again, I ain't married to a sheik that's worth billions either. And the news, there's an insider, according to the New York Post, that alleges that she feels disappointed because the show's heads didn't give her more of a chance to take over Pat's job, or that she wasn't able to give her 2 cents on the replacement. Okay, wait a minute. Come on, Vanna. They called you one of the co-hosts, and that's fine and dandy, but, come on. I don't think so. It's not like you were on the production team or anything like that. All right? She still respects the American Idol alum 48, Ryan, that is to say, and is happy to work with him, but it shows a lack of respect in her eyes that they have for her. She wants to be with the show for as long as she wants to be with the show. On her terms, she believes she deserves it. Negotiations are still ongoing behind the scenes, and if White gets replaced and is not given a new contract, she will be beyond heartbroken. As we all will, Vanna. As we all will. However, she also believes that she doesn't have the clout she once had on the show and is no longer bulletproof regarding big set changes. At the end of the day, Pat's retiring. Merv Griffin's dead. It's just like you just don't. No, it ain't like it used to be, girl. It ain't like it used to be. She's been with them since what, 1982? Okay, so yeah. Unfortunately, yeah, things ain't what they used to be. So, but Vanna deserves. Noreen's saying Vanna deserves the money. Vanna deserves the money. I'm inclined to agree with that because she is the face of. She's the face. She's the face. Come on. Who am I kidding? She's the one that turns the letters. She doesn't say a word. She says maybe 5 words on that show every single day. And she makes $3 million. But she wants $7 million. What's your thoughts on this? Noreen says she deserves the money. What's your thoughts about that? Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments down below. If you're watching the replay, we will get back to you eventually. Maybe not this year. No, I mean that sincerely. We'll get back to you as quickly as we know how. But let us know. Is Vanna replaceable? Is she really replaceable? Elena is saying, oh, come on. We know why she's popular. But is she worth that much? I repeat. She is married to a sheik. That is a true story. It ain't like she's hurting. Okay? Plus, like I said, she's making $3 million a year. I'm sitting back waiting for the pension check so I can run down to Aldi and pick up some macaroni and cheese. Trust me, she ain't hurting. Okay? Another one of the stories that we're keeping up with is you've heard all kinds of news about what is going to be the final single by the Beatles. And we're getting more and more clues of just what this, quote, final song will be, end quote, and also what will be on it and what will not be on it. The latest situation includes a statement from Ringo Starr, who has weighed in on the idea that, you might remember that Paul McCartney in an interview said that they used AI, artificial intelligence, to clean up John Lennon's voice. It's not what he said. He kind of spoke out of context, and Ringo kind of is cleaning up that explanation a little bit. He was in an interview with People magazine, and he said that this is absolutely John Lennon's voice taken off as neat as we can, but it was taken off of a cassette, and that's all I can tell you. Now, that tells me straight off, you don't need to tell me anymore. By the way, happy birthday to Sir Richard. Today is his birthday. So happy birthday to Ringo. But he said that the Beatles would never fake John Lennon's voice using AI. And he also goes on to confirm that along with John's vocals, the song features all four Beatles, including George Harrison. This was beautiful, says Sir Richard, and it's the final track you'll ever hear of the four lads. That's a fact. Now, to hash home a point that I've made over the last few weeks when we've been talking about this. Older fans will remember during the 90s when the Beatles had recorded the anthology albums and released the anthology video of the story of their history. Yoko Ono had given George Harrison and Paul McCartney cassettes of demos that John had recorded in his apartment in the Dakota in New York, anywhere between 1978 and 1990, or 1980 rather, before he was so mercilessly assassinated. The songs that were on these cassettes, two of them were used. Of course, we know them, Free as a Bird and Real Love. But there was a third one. That they started to record, but in the middle of the recording, according to Paul, he told Q Magazine in 1997 the song's exclusion from the anthology was due to George Harrison's dislike of the tune, calling it effing rubbish. It didn't have a very good title. It needed a bit of reworking, but it had a beautiful verse and it had John singing it. George didn't like it. The Beatles being a democracy, we didn't do it. But this song was from that session, the anthology sessions, or that the tape that they are using is from the anthology sessions. It's a song called Now and Then. It was demoed on a cassette tape by Lennon in 1979, and it was one of the songs that was given to the band during the anthology sessions. So it looks like a really, really smart bet that this final Beatles song, which, by the way, Paul had always said he was going to finish one day. That's going to be the final Beatles song. Now, what about this whole AI thing? What it means is that Peter Jackson, who you might know, had directed and produced the Get Back documentary, which is on Disney Plus and available now on DVD and Blu-ray. But he used, he invented a type of artificial intelligence along with Giles Martin, which he used for what he used to call detracking certain tracks in the movie and in the subsequent soundtrack. Peter Jackson has been widely reported that Peter Jackson and his team, which included Giles Martin, this is according to Music Radar, developed and used AI, which was a machine learning demix technology during the mixing of the documentary in order to isolate instruments recorded on the same track. When Peter Jackson did the film, where it was us making the Let It Be album, he was able to extricate John's voice from a ropey little bit of cassette and a piano, and he could separate them with AI. He told the machine, that's a voice, this is a guitar, lose the guitar. So when we came to make what will be the last Beatles record, it was a demo that John had that we worked on, that we just finished it up, and it'll be released this year. So there you have it. That is exactly what's going on. You're all bets in, all bets down. The last Beatles single will be Now and Then, written by John Lennon and performed by all four Beatles. And it will be released sometime this year. And I'll repeat what I said then. Number one, I'm looking forward to it all over the place, of course. And number two, the fact that this is the final new Beatles record, I'm okay with that. I really am okay with that. You know, we've had them for 60 years now. I mean, my God, there's only two of them left. And they're in their 80s. Let them go. Let's let them go. Let's let them enjoy the rest of their life. You know, George Harrison said in the anthology, you know, the fans gave their screams and they gave their money and they gave their love. The Beatles gave their nerve endings, which was a lot more expensive. So yeah, you know, I'm looking forward to it, and if this is the last one, I'm okay with it. I really am. We'll see what happens. Checking the tote board real fast. Noreen going back to the Vanna White thing. Glad to see you're not obsessing. She used to go to all the malls in the LA area in the early years to promote the show. Pat wasn't. Well, you know. I'm just saying. One last thing before I go, and I'm almost ashamed to talk about this. And the reason I'm ashamed to talk about this is due to the fact that I don't want to sound like I'm on the bandwagon about this. As so many people are, trust me on this. There are a ton of people that are on the bandwagon about this. But this story just keeps getting weirder and weirder and weirder. If you don't know about this, I'm talking about a young lady by the name of Colleen Ballinger. Now, I asked you guys last week on the show, should I talk about this? And nobody really gave me an answer. But I feel the need to talk about this, not because I want to be one of the cool guys on the block, you know, one of the really cool YouTubers that talk about this, spilling the tea. But the story is just getting so weird. If you don't know who Colleen Ballinger is, she's one of the, I guess you can call old school YouTube creators. She had an audience at one point of like 5 million people, 5 million subscribers. And her vlog was basically, you know, her and her life and her husband and their 3 kids and what they do and all kinds of fun stuff like that. She had an alter ego, a character that she had put together, a character by the name of Miranda Sings. This character became so popular that Colleen Ballinger actually ended up with a Netflix series that lasted 2 seasons, a show called Haters Back Off. It was very popular. She also had a slight run on Broadway. She was in Waitresses for a little while. She's had stints. She's had appearances with Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, Stephen Colbert. Very, very famous YouTuber. But in the last 3 weeks to a month, I'm here to tell you, so, she's been accused of abusing her power and engaging in toxic parasocial relationships. I'm just going to read this right out of Rolling Stone. Past and current members of her team, including her best friend Corey DeSoto, her ex-husband Joshua David Evans, her brother Trent Ballinger, have also been accused of using Ballinger's fame and access to inappropriately message underage followers. She used to have a little text session which she referred to as Colleenie's Weenies, in which, according to one of the people that brought this out, were asking like 14 and 15-year-old boys if they were virgins, asking them to, you know, show pictures of their ass. And I know I'm talking a lot of this out of context, but I'm only doing this because I don't want to become one of those people. But this is just getting so strange. And again, around 2016, Miranda was the stuff, okay? She won a Teen Choice Award back in 2015. She produced several national and international tours. She had a limited guest run on Waitresses. She was the first face on Ariana Grande's Thank You Next video. You know, so yeah, she has had a lot going on. But, so you've got people saying that she has, Robin Newman has popped in. Hello, Robin. Thank you very much. I appreciate you telling me that it's a good show. Thank you, sir. So I want to play part of this because it gets weird. It gets weirder. Usually when people are faced with these kinds of accusations, they come out and they apologize, they take accountability, whatever the case may be. Not Colleen. She published a video. This came out last week. I'm only going to play a few minutes of it. This was the video of Colleen Ballinger answering the accusations that she has manipulated and allegedly misappropriated things, just did unnice things to young people. This is the video that she put out. Just watch it.
Hey, it's been a while since you saw my face. I haven't been doing so great, so I took a little break. So a lot of people are saying some things about me that aren't quite true. Doesn't matter if it's true though, just as long as it's entertaining to you. Right? You guys having fun? All aboard the toxic gossip train. You're chugging down the tracks of misinformation. The toxic gossip train. You got a one-way ticket to manipulation station. Toxic toxic gossip train. Tie me to the tracks and harass me for my past. 'Cause rumors look like facts. If you don't mind the gaps, I won't survive in the crash. But hey, at least you're having fun. Hi everyone. I've been wanting to come online and talk to you about a few things. Even though my team has strongly advised me to not say what I want to say, I recently realized that they never said that I couldn't sing what I want to say. So here I am, and today I only want to talk about the facts. So I hope that you'll be willing to listen. Here we go.
And she goes on like that for the next 8 minutes. It is not an apology. It is basically a throwback to, hey, you know, what about me? You guys are throwing shade on me. But it's getting worse. It's getting worse. Not only has she been slammed like there's no tomorrow about her, quote, apology, end quote, but now it's gotten a lot worse. Because now, there is now an accusation by several people, including another YouTuber and OnlyFans creator, Trisha Paytas. Now, you need to understand that Trisha Paytas and she were starting a podcast a couple of weeks ago, and they'd made 2 episodes. But then came another accusation. Came another accusation from Paytas, and along with a couple of other people, along with proof that Colleen had sent some of Trisha's adult content to underage boys. Number one. And number two, they were doing it during a viewing party where they were body shaming her. They were calling her fat. So Trisha came on, she made a public video. She said that, you know, these alleged actions are the, quote, the most disgusting thing, end quote. And at the same time, I mean, there's no sugarcoating this. We're talking federal offenses now. Okay? You're talking, and I'm only touching the surface here. I'm scratching the surface, but it is the weirdest thing. And I know I'm not going into a whole lot of detail about this because we're running out of time and there's just so much to cover. But I wanted to come out and just basically say that if half of any of this is true, yeah, way to destroy a perfectly good career, Colleen. Anyway, that is going to do it from here, I believe. I think it's enough for 1 week, don't you? I want to thank everybody for popping in this evening. Certainly do appreciate it. Everybody that was in the chat and you as well. Don't forget, as soon as we get done here, oh boy, it is back. The Hugs Top 10 Countdown and the Shockwave at Hugs 24/7 Radio, HUGSATWRGG. Go check it out. It is one of the best radio stations. If you like good music and you want to support the unsigned independent artist, Cyrus Gray has got the top 10 unsigned independent artists from around the world coming up. Hugs 24/7 Radio, HUGSATWRGG. There, I said it. Not a problem. Thank you so much for joining me. I certainly do appreciate it. I appreciate everything that you do. Can we get people to like and subscribe? Yeah, let's do that. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Like, subscribe, do all that YouTube stuff. In other words, if you like it, hey, you know what to do. We out of here. We'll see you next week. Bye!